cast-offs and squeezing a few more good years out of him. Take George Blanda. He joined the Raiders at age 39 and went on to give them 9 more years as a place kicker and backup quarterback. In 1970, at the age of 43, Blanda had a season for the ages, literally carrying the Raiders on his worn and weathered back.
George Blanda came to pro football in 1949 from the University of Kentucky, where his coach was Paul Bear Bryant. Spanning 4 decades, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, he played 26 incredible seasons for the Chicago Bears, the Houston Oilers, and the Oakland Raiders. It is accurate to say that his miracle season in 1970 made the greatest impact on pro football for heroism and thrills that the game has ever known.
They're going to try a field goal from 53 yards. The odds against this must be about 76 million to a half. It's 20-20. Left hash mark. Stabler will hold. 7 seconds to go. Here it is. Snap. Spotted. It's kicked. That's got a chance. That is good. It's good. Holy Toledo. The place has gone wild. Woo! I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The Oakland Raiders 23. The Cleveland Browns 20. George Blanda has just been elected king of the world.
No one would have guessed so grand a destiny for a 43-year-old man who began his career as a third-string quarterback for the Chicago Bears in 1949.
George Blanda was not a very good football player when he came with the Chicago Bears. He was rusty in the fine points of T-formation quarterback. He was a very aggressive, a determined young player. I thought when he came with the Bears the first year that he may have been the finest kicker of a football that I had ever seen. He couldn't run the ball at all, so they had to find some spot, you know, that they could make use of his talent. So they tried to use him as a linebacker, but he wasn't any linebacker.
George Blanda wasn't much of a quarterback either. At least that's how Coach George Halas felt. Although Blanda was alert and resourceful, he was never a regular with Chicago. After 10 frustrating seasons, he quit the Bears, deserting a cause that long ago had deserted him. In 1960, Blanda got a second life when the Houston Oilers of the newly formed AFL lured him out of a 1-year retirement. In his first 2 seasons, he passed the Oilers to 2 championships and set a league record in 1961 when he threw 36 touchdown passes in a single year. By 1966, however, Blanda was considered too old for the rigorous conflict of pro football. Houston put him on waivers, and no one seemed interested in a seemingly washed-up quarterback except the Oakland Raiders.
I would have never fulfilled the honor of being here today if it hadn't been for Al Davis, who at my age at 39 thought that I could still kick and throw the football a little bit. And when Al called me up in July of 1967 to come back and try out my 3rd season, my 3rd career with the Oakland Raiders, I was the first to jump at it.
For 3 years, Blanda waited on the sidelines, an old soldier, supposedly too ancient for battle, but too stubborn to fade away. On October 25th, 1970, Darryl LaMonica was injured against the Steelers. Blanda replaced him, passed the Raiders to victory, and for the next 4 weeks, George Blanda captivated the country with his miracle finishes.
And with 8 seconds, George Blanda is handed the incredibly difficult job of about a 47 or 48-yard field goal. And here's your ball game. 17-14 Kansas City. LaMonica will spot at the 48. It's snapped, it's down, it's kicked. It is good! It's good! It is good! George Blanda has kicked a 48-yard field goal, and the scoreboard shows the Kansas City Chiefs 17 and the Oakland Raiders 17.
At the age of 43, George Blanda was not over the hill. He was king of it.
George Blanda had a God-given killer instinct to make it happen when everything was on the line. It is true that great men inspire in others the will to be great. George Blanda inspired a whole nation. He knew how to lead. He knew how to win. I really believe that George Blanda is the greatest clutch player I have ever seen in the history of professional football.
18, 17, 16. The clock still going at 13, at 12. Clock stops at 7 seconds. They set it where they wanted it, and they knew, everybody here knew exactly what they were waiting for. And here comes George Blanda onto the field. The 16-yard line, LaMonica will spot it. He waits. It's snapped. It's spotted. It's kicked. It is good. George Blanda has kicked the Oakland Raiders into a 3-point lead. And this man may tie the San Francisco Bay Area up into a knot from which it may never extricate itself again.
They said he was too old to still be a player, but he was just the right age to become a legend.
George Blanda, I can hear the roar of the crowd. The clock is ticking down. In a few moments, number 16, you will be here at this microphone. It will be the most important play of your life, your enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.